me. Brent Ward is with us this morning from CWTAR, the Central West Tennessee Association of Realtors. Cleve Marsh, if you're listening, yes, I did that without a net.
Good job.
Yeah.
You did great on that. Thank you so much for having me here again, Jimmy.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate
We look forward to Mondays because we find out some stuff that we need to know that we probably wouldn't find out anywhere else.
Yeah, you're probably right
That's
based
true.
on what
That's true.
I see out there. Hey, and just, you said you're stuck in the old stuff in 66. Yeah. Just FYI, I wasn't born yet in 66.
Oh, man, that hurt. That hurt. I remember it quite well.
Hey, just remember, it's not going to be much longer before I'm going to actually be able to say jokes like that because eventually they're going to be told to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I was 2 years after that, so 68.
Wow.
So I was just right there.
68.
Yeah, right there.
I was out of high school and in the radio business.
In the radio business.
Yeah.
So you have been doing this a long time.
WJAK. Yeah, sure enough. Before we miss it, and I have a tendency to do that, not on purpose, Paul, but Paul Schulze, our man behind the curtain over there, he has the curtain open today because it is so hot by that front window. He's trying to get a breath of air. So, Paul, we're not going to settle for a hand today. Slide out and say hi to everybody. Can you do that? Here he comes. He's getting up. Headphones. There he is. Worthy Road Studios. There's Paul Schulze. He's the owner-operator of Worthy Road Studios. If you need video, audio, any of the internet connections that he can do for you, they do a lot of sports around this area. You've seen his product. You just don't get to see Paul very often. And we appreciate him being with us. He puts us on the Facebook page of CWTAR under Facebook Live, and it'll be archived there if you don't get a chance to listen to all the show today. Now, what are we going to talk about today? You sent me an email.
I did.
Yep. We'll be talking about the NAR promotion. That's who we are, and R being R for Realtor.
That is correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's been running now for, I want to say, 14, 16 months, something like that, and they just renewed to go ahead and continue on into next year. That's probably one of the best campaigns that the National Association of Realtors has run. It's been the most widely accepted, and because they're really trying to bring home the fact that, and I've talked about it on the show a million times, about how realtors are not just salespeople that you're never ever going to see again. Realtors are people that live and work and go to the doctor and go to the church. I mean, they're in your community. Yeah. They are the people that you see every day on a daily basis. It just happens to be the job that they have.
They walk among us.
That's right. And they'll still be here. That's the thing. You always hear whenever a storm or something comes in, a lot of your roofers and people that are coming into the area, right. A lot of those people, they're from Memphis or Nashville. They just hang their license in somebody else's office while they go out and do this. And then once it's all done, you never see them again.
They're gone,
right?
Yeah. They're like storm chasers when the roofs blow off.
Yeah. It's the same type of deal, but see, realtors are not that way. Realtors are here, and they're going to be around, and and I can tell you right now, there's probably not anybody out there that doesn't know at least one realtor that they know that's what they do, as a profession.
And maybe I'm tainted because I have worked in the fringes of that
right
industry for many, many years, but I don't understand how anybody would say it's a cool thing for me to do, a good thing for me to do, to try to do all this stuff by myself. I can buy a house by myself. I can sell my own house. Maybe you can, but maybe you can't.
Maybe you can. And the thing comes in, and you got to understand, is I'd say probably 90% of all home buyers out there, that is the most expensive asset that they own. It's the most expensive thing they're ever going to buy. And the only other thing they have to compare that to is a car. Yeah. And in their mind, selling your house, selling your car, it's the same thing. But if you've been in the business even a short amount of time, and you've seen the regulation and what's involved, and you'd realize really quick that there's nothing like selling a car like selling a house.
No, not
totally different. There's too much regulation on it. You have to be careful about it because, when you sell your car, you don't really have to worry about fair housing too much when you sell your car, right? Not unless they're planning on living in it. But, when you sell your house, and that's what a lot of homeowners really don't realize is they're under the exact same set of laws that we are as realtors when we get out there and market somebody's property. They're under those same exact set of laws, whether they know it or not. And just because you don't have a realtor R hanging on your chest does not mean that you're not obligated to follow those same set of laws.
Absolutely.
Provide those same forms, provide those same documents, make sure you get stuff in writing, make sure you're not violating fair housing or anything along those lines. And it's really important, and that's where, you know, some people get themselves in trouble. And what's funny is, and you can go online and look this up, is that houses that sell with realtors will always typically bring a higher price than they do when you sell them on your own.
Yep.
Even though people are trying to save money, but we can help get you a higher price. So, you know,
plus the mental pressure and the things that have to be done to market a house properly. I mean, you put a sign in the yard, yeah, whoever drives by may stop and look at that sign, but you don't have that listed out there on the multiple listing systems. You don't have it out there on all of the websites that are available nowadays.
That's right.
Where if you're dealing with a realtor, that's what they do. They know how to market that house. You know how to sell a house, maybe, but they know how to market a house.
Well, you know, the biggest thing you run into is and this still happens even when realtors market people's houses. Sellers have a tendency to say way too much.
Yeah.
And it's because they've lived there. They have an emotional attachment to that property. Realtors don't. I mean, you know, this is a job they've been hired to do, is to help you sell your house so you can go move wherever you need to.
It's a product that they are selling.
It's a product that they're selling. That's right. And so as a seller and a homeowner, when you're doing it yourself, you just have a tendency to you want to tell them everything that you've ever done to the property. And in your mind, if something bad has happened and then you fixed it or whatever, that's not going to register the same way in a buyer's mind as it does in your mind, because they have zero attachment to this property. The buyer has no attachment. And there again, much like a car, you know, people are attached to their cars. We talked about cars last week, right?
Some of us more than we should be.
Yeah, some of us more than we should be. That's right. And I'm attached to everybody else's cars but mine. But the thing is you typically don't get that attachment until after you've owned it for a little while, and now then it's a part of you, right?
Right.
Because I drove a Jeep Wrangler black Rubicon for like 8 years, and that was me. Everybody knew that was me. That Wrangler Rubicon was my car.
Right.
You know, and sorry, honey. She started with the Jeep, so I just ended up with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But same thing with the house. So, you know, you just have to be careful, and that's where realtors, they're trained. They've gone to school. We still have to have continuing education every 2 years to continue to hold a license to sell real estate. And these are just things that we know how to market, and we can market, and marketing is expensive. And like you said, you know, there was a point in time back years ago where the yard sign was really important, right?
Yeah.
It's still important as far as at least letting people know that your property is for sale, but it's not like it used to be. No. Now then, the internet naturally.
Well, you don't have to get out and drive the neighborhoods to see what is available.
No, you don't.
When you can go, I remember the first big change I remember in that process was when you would drive up to and you would see a sign out there and it would say, call this number or text this number, and you can get all the information on the house on your phone while you're sitting there looking at it.
While you're sitting there looking at it. They even went to the QR codes.
Yeah.
They even had those on the sign, and QR codes, as fast as QR codes came in, they went out.
Went away,
they were gone.
Yeah.
I mean, just they were in, oh, this is great. And then before we even started using them, they were already on their way out.
Exactly.
Because it's just so much easier. We've got a new app that our agents use right now called HomeSnap Pro. And that's just amazing, and it's been a huge marketing tool for our real estate agents. They can pretty much tell you anything you want to know about any property that you look at out on the street. If they're with you and you're just like, I wonder about that house right there, for sale or not, that agent can turn around, take their little app they have on their phone, and just show the front of that house, and it just pops up all the information they need. It's great.
Well, you know, I think I told you the story about the house that we live in now. We've been in it 16 years, which is hard to believe we've been squatting there that long, but we were out looking for houses in that particular neighborhood with a realtor, and we just hadn't found the one that struck our code. And my wife was really hoping to have one with a bay window somewhere.
I remember you telling me.
So we were coming out of this one area that we had looked at a house at with the realtor. The realtor was maybe 2 blocks ahead of us, and I kind of caught a glimpse of one on a corner lot. And it didn't have a bay window, but it did have a sunroom on the back of it. You can see the glassed-in sunroom. So I picked up the cell phone very quickly, and I called him, and I said, can you get us in this house back here? And he said, yeah. He said, I've got the codes and all that stuff. So he turned around. We met him there at that and walked through the house twice and made an offer the next morning because It had everything we wanted pretty much, and she was fine with the sunroom as opposed to the bay window.
Right.
But had you not been working with a realtor, had we not, we might not have gotten into that house that day. It could have sold before we got our hands on it, and here we'd be out looking around. So it's important to have somebody who has those connections that can get you where you need to be, when you need to be, and then tell you all the pros and cons about what you're looking at.
That's never more important than right now, because houses now, as there's already a shortage, we've talked about that on the show in the past. There's a shortage of properties as it is now, and days on market are really down. The average days on market, when I looked at it the other day, was I think like 52 days.
Yeah.
So that's not even 2 months
right
on the average, which means majority of houses are probably selling a lot faster than that. And if they're within that sweet spot, because the average sales price in Jackson right now is at about 176.
Wow.
In that neighborhood. And so if you've got anything in that sweet spot between about 125 up to about 200, it's probably, if it looks good and it's priced well, it's not going to stay on the market more than probably a week or 2 weeks. And you might have people lined up the day the sign hits the yard, because the way our system works, they get notifications immediately, especially if they have a buyer sitting out there looking for a property and they've looked at stuff and can't really find that one house. So yeah. We've sold more houses this year during the same time frame as we did last year, which in my mind I was thinking that's not going to be possible because of the shortage. But what makes it seem like we haven't is the fact that they sell so quickly, but we've probably sold 125 more houses in Madison County than we have last year at the exact same time.
What created? We're still in the seller's market right now here.
Yes,
right?
we are.
So what created that? Does that go back to the 07, 08 downturn? Because there were a lot of houses on the market then that quit selling.
You're right.
And there were a lot of lots available to be built on, but nobody was in position
to build
on them because they couldn't move the inventory they had already. So it started back then. Are we seeing a break in that? Are we catching up any at all? Because I can remember doing home appraisals back in those days, and there was a line across a URAR form, which everybody is familiar with in the business. It says estimated marketing time, and it was 3 months, 3 to 6, or 6 or more are the blocks that were available.
Right.
And it was always in this area, 3 to 6 was pretty much common. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden now it's less than 3.
Less than 3. Yeah. So you're right. That's pretty much where it started, because a lot of builders that had gotten into the game like in 04, 05, and 06, they had backing from somebody that had money to become a builder, got their contractor's license, build a house here, build a house. Those people are gone.
Right.
And so that also stopped development. So there wasn't a lot of new subdivisions that were being developed. And so the only thing that you had to build on was what got started before the recession hit. And so when they came back and started building the house here, banks got really tight with money because of everything that happened. So, having 15, 20, 30 houses on ground at one time, new construction, you didn't see that.
Didn't see it,
you
right.
might have 1, 2, or 3, but that's the best you could do unless you were going to put your own money out there and do it. And then that was a part of it. And they are slowly but surely starting to catch up, but they're still behind where they normally have been as far as new construction and development. And in our area last year, with all the rain we had in the fall last year, that put a lot of subdivision developments way behind that were supposed to have been started in the spring this year, that they're still hoping will be ready to go at least by the end of the fall this year.
Right.
But then the other part of that too, which I didn't know until I got back from one of my conventions from NAR, was there's a lot of older people that in the past would have already sold their house and moved into something smaller, or moved into an older person condo unit. Yeah, I talk with my hands, so I'm smacking everything. I've hit your binder, my microphone. And so that a lot of times they'll move into condo units, or they'll move into a smaller house, or maybe they'll move into an assisted living, or whatever the case may be, and they're not moving. And I didn't realize this until I went to a convention, and they were talking about that there are a lot of people that are older that typically would have already moved from now, but because of what happened in 07, they don't want to. They want to stay where they are until they just absolutely have to go somewhere, versus, hey, I think it's time for me to go somewhere. And so
in a lot of cases now, with medical technology, what it is, and home care available now that wasn't 10, 15 years ago, people can stay where they are.
They can. Oh yeah, now you got the call-in doctors. You can or go online and talk to a doctor if it's something minor, just ask a question and they're diagnosing you over your computer or your telephone just
True.
by answering a few questions. You never even have to leave the house.
Yep.
I don't know how accurate that is. I've never done it, but
haven't
I've
either.
seen advertisements for it. So,
Yeah.
but so talking about realtors, that's who we are, and
Yep.
talking about being out in the community, this, that, and the other. We talked about it on the show, trying to get people to come, and we had Dr. Sandra D on here. But we were one of the big sponsors for
Yes.
the International Arts and Food Festival this weekend.
I saw your group picture on Facebook.
That's right, it was on
smiling
there.
in front of the courthouse building, the
That's right.
county courthouse building.
Yeah, we had
down
a
there.
great setup, and so we're hoping to do that again. I mean, we were right across from the stage.
Oh, perfect.
And the lawn, I went up there. Well, I was there, helped set up, and then I went into my daughter's soccer game, and then came back to actually go through the festival itself. And it was just packed. And I've already heard from Vinay, and he's already told me that they've had record crowds again. Last year they had close to 10,000, so
Yeah.
they're estimating they've had even more than that, and I would believe it.
Yeah.
Because that place was packed. Of course, it was hot Saturday.
Yep, it
and
was.
I was more concerned about my daughter after just getting finished playing a soccer game and then getting out there walking around. But we tried to keep her in the shade as much as possible. But we had a lot of good food. We ate some Japanese food, ate some Greek food. We ate some Caribbean food from Trinidad and
A
Tobago.
little jerk chicken, maybe?
We did not.
Oh,
They
man,
had
I
that.
like
We
that.
stopped there because they were the only ones that had something my daughter would eat, and that was
Right.
macaroni pie. So it was basically macaroni and cheese is what it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
That and fruit. They had on a hot day like that. That fruit was delicious.
Yeah.
And so we ate fruit and macaroni, and then I found this place that sold iced tea, any flavor or
Ooh.
type you wanted, in this big, huge jug. So
Man.
yeah, I was a happy camper after
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
And so I blame my son for the whole iced tea because I didn't drink it up until about last year, and because he was drinking it all the time. So now that I'm an iced tea drinker,
Yep.
But it was a lot of fun. But we were there. We were handing out fair housing information. We had it printed in both English and Spanish, and we were handing out our West 10 Home Search magazines. We were handing out. We had goodie bags that had been provided by a lot of our sponsors that had things in it, and Kimberly, who's been on the show with us before, and the one that reminds me or was telling me, like, you got to go, you're gonna be late. She spent about 2 hours working on a really cool display that we had right there on the front, which had the word home in big letters, but then had the word home written in all the other
Oh, man.
nations'
All the other languages. Yeah.
also had home written in that same thing.
Man, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
and it
good.
was really
Yeah.
neat, and we just had that laying right there on the top. We were giving away, we had a drawing, we're giving away a flag that has all the nation's flags on it, with the American flag right in the center, and then a map of the world.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. So we'll be giving that away. But that's just to come back where I'm hitting at with that is that we were there, we were in the community. One of our other real estate companies also had a booth there, and they were giving away free water and cupcakes that day.
Yep.
And so that's just one of the things as far as community service that we get out there and we do as realtors to try to help out and to show that, hey, we're right here in your community, and
Yeah.
we want to be a part of what you guys do, because we are.
Not only living, but giving back to the community, and that you're not going to find that with these online sites. They don't care.
You are not. They do not care.
They're here for the money. They're not here for anything else. And although they are helpful at times, that is not the destination stop.
That is not.
Somebody you can walk up to and shake their hand, look them in the face, and knows the market and knows how to get around in that market.
Right.
That's the person you need to look for.
I think having an online presence is good, because I'm real bad about that's the first place I go, right?
Sure, absolutely.
But in the end, I want to talk to somebody.
Exactly.
I don't want to do it all online. I want to talk to them, and if I can go talk to them and sit down, like you said, shake their hand, look at them face to face, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that way.
Yes, sir.
So I think having that online presence and then being able to still have that face-to-face conversation for the most expensive purchase that somebody's going to make in their lifetime,
For sure.
I think is really, really important.
This is sponsored by some folks that you can do just that with.
That's right.
You can call them, you can go by their office, you can talk to them, and you can sit there and eyeball them and tell them what your needs are, and they'll be right there to help you. And they sponsor the show, which is a presentation of CWTAR. We call it The Voice for Real Estate, and our sponsors are Leaders Mortgage Services. We can't stress too much how much the mortgage industry has changed over the last 20, 25 years. There were a couple of 3 choices back in those days: conventional, FHA, VA, and that's about all you had. Maybe a farmer's home every now and then if it was a rural property. But nowadays there's so many programs out there, and they can pretty much tailor a mortgage to fit your needs. And I'm not saying everybody's going to fit into that hole, but a lot of people will. But you won't know what's out there until you talk to a professional. Let them look at your financial information, give you an idea of what you can afford, what price range you can shop in, and then they'll put a mortgage together to get you the best payment situation that they can get for you. That makes it easy. That way you don't have to look all over town and come up with the first 2 choices that you can't afford.
That's right.
It's always hard to go down. You can always go up, but you don't want to go down.
Don't want to go down.
So go by and talk to or give them a phone call at Leaders Mortgage Services, 215-6678, the number there. Once you get it all put together, before you close that loan, they're going to require that you have some homeowners insurance. Not only they require it, but you should require it too, because it protects the largest investment you will ever make, and that's your home. And it not only includes that, but it includes the outbuildings and the contents and all kinds of things under the homeowner's umbrella. And it's just a necessary thing. You want to talk to someone, again, who can navigate the insurance market. It can be confusing. You don't know what you've got until somebody sits down and explains it to you. Angie Hooten Hughes with Allstate Insurance Company. She has a Memphis office, Shelby County office, and a Jackson office. 668-1990 is her phone number here. Let her look at what you have as far as insurance is concerned. She may be able to bundle your homeowners, your cars, your umbrella coverages, your life insurance, all into one package, make it a little more easy to negotiate and a little bit cheaper for you to pay for. Less expensive, shall we say. It's no such thing as cheap insurance. It's just less expensive. Allstate Insurance, you're in good hands with Angie and her crew. And, of course, the legal end of it is something we always have to take care of. Bird & Bird attorneys have been in the legal business and the real estate business 1985 when they started here in Jackson in West Tennessee. They do residential and commercial closings. They do all the title searches, the mortgage insurances. They help you with buy-sell agreements if you need that. Commercial leases. In a lot of cases, you need someone who knows how to put a lease together so that you're not stuck on the end should your tenant move like a Bedouin in the middle of the night, which, believe it or not, still happens. Charles Bird will carefully review all the aspects of a real estate transaction, including research and verification of property titles, covenants, and restrictions, and as well as zoning and other deed restrictions. Bird & Bird, 424-7188. It's that simple. They're one of our great sponsors here for The Voice for Real Estate, and Brent Ward is the mouthpiece, CEO of CWTAR.
I've been called a lot worse, but I'll take that. Mouthpiece.
That'll work.
Mouthpiece. Yeah, I'll take that. So a couple of things when you were talking about Leaders Credit Union, and this is my fault because I failed to mention it when I've been on the show, but
yeah.
Kimberly, like I said, gave me a list of notes today. She's like, don't forget.
Sent your brain with you.
Yeah, sent my brain with me. That's right. And but Leaders has sponsored a magazine push that we've done for our West End Home Search magazine,
right.
And you can get more information about it. So just stop and pick up a copy of our West End Home Search magazine. But they're actually doing a promotion where we're giving away some prizes for people that do selfie shots and post it out there on our page. And like I said, you can get more information. But our winner for this week, and sponsored by Leaders Credit Union, is actually our very own Amanda Harvey, who was the winner for this week, who posted her picture with our magazine. And so Amanda, if you're listening, just give Kimberly a holler and she'll tell you what you need to do. But she won a cooler from Leaders Credit Union.
Right.
That's out there, mortgage services. And so, yeah, if you're interested in, gift cards, coolers, whatever they're giving away for that month, all you got to do is pick up a copy of the magazine. You can pick those up anywhere and just go online and follow the instructions there. They're right there in the magazine.
Yeah, that's simple enough.
Yeah, simple enough. So it's a push for that, and that's Leaders. And then talking about Charles there, he and I were talking about something Friday on email back and forth, and even though we were both busy, we have a tendency to kind of go back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
So apparently me and Charles are going to start a tag team wrestling. I'm not just kidding, by the way, for anybody that's listening.
What's the name of the team going to be? We got a name?
We didn't get that far with it. It was so funny because I was trying to tell my wife about it when he showed up to Sunday school Sunday morning. He walked in. I just leaned over to her and I said, me and Charles are starting a tag team wrestling. She looked at me so funny, and I said, I'll tell you later. I don't even remember how we got to that point, but
well, there are two things you need to come together on an agreement early on. Number one is mask or no mask.
He was mask. I was no mask.
Okay.
That part I know.
And then tights or not.
He based on the picture he sent me, I'm gonna say he was tights and I was not. Okay.
Oh man, that conjures up a mental picture that I'm gonna have a lot of trouble unlearning.
Sorry, Charles. It was just funny.
That's one of the good things about dealing with people.
That's right.
You become friends with those people. Y'all have been friends for years, and you can get away with those little funny things because they know.
But that tells you that they're people just like you are.
Yes.
Because I hear people all the time fussing about this person or that person or whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, but I kind of like that person because they remind me of somebody I want to hang out with.
I have a good friend that is the master of the one-liner. I mean, he can put you in his place with one line, and he'll nail you on something, and he'll say, "But I meant that in a good way."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which you knew to begin with. But that's okay.
I've got a brother-in-law and a brother and my wife, and they all fall in that same category of what we call pot stirrers.
Yeah.
And my wife's brother is he's bad enough that somebody actually gave him a one of those giant spoons they use in the cauldrons when they're making stew or whatever for Christmas one year.
Yeah.
Because they were like, "You're the biggest pot stirrer I've ever seen." And my brother's just as bad, so they have a tendency to just. They pick up on stuff people say, and then they want to just keep pushing it forward, and stick it out there. Because I know my wife and I, we hardly ever fight, but when we were dating, he picked up on something that I said. I picked up on it as well too, but I just kept right on going like it had not been said. Oh no, not him.
No.
He stopped the conversation. He goes, "What'd you just say?" And I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." And by the time we left that restaurant, my soon-to-be wife, who wasn't, she's about ready to kill me. And we walked out in the parking lot, and it was all his fault.
We do the same thing every day. I'm a member of a lunch group here, and we meet together 5 days a week. Anywhere from 2 of us to 14 of us, if everybody shows up. Been doing that for 47 years.
That's
5
awesome.
days a week, and that's what we do for an hour.
Yeah.
Is we as one of the wives said, if somebody heard y'all talking, they wouldn't know you were friends. He said, "Who said we are?" But I mean, you need that little tension breaker in the middle of the day. But it's good to have friends like that.
Well, if you could see me and my family together, and I guess it's because I taught my kids over the years, if you were to see us together, I become the brunt of everybody's joke when we get together. I guess because I'm such a good sport at it, and I just take it or whatever.
Yeah.
But you get my wife, my brother, my oldest son together, and now my youngest son is starting to pick up on it as well too. I'm still bigger than he is, and I can still toss him around. So I just warn him all the time. You're not there yet, but you will be eventually. So I'm getting a message on my phone from my other half of my brain here telling me we're running out of time.
We're getting close.
I got more on my sheet here.
We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. What else did we not cover?
So we've got first of all, CWTAR is hosting the Chamber's Business After Hours.
Oh, great.
At our association office, and that's going to be on October the 24th.
Okay, that's at the corner of North Star Drive and Old Humboldt Road.
That is correct. Good job.
Know exactly where it is.
Good job, Jimmy. I've never seen you in there, but you know exactly where we're located. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're doing that on October the 24th. Of course, that's from 5 to 7. That's the Chamber's normal times for that. But we've also got 2 more Chamber members that are coming in. That's 731 Social and Catering. Is catering, and Samuel Bryant Distillery, and the Crown Winery is coming. So, we're bringing on a all-star cast there to help us with hours.
After hours, that's a great business after hours.
Business after hours. So looking forward to that. And then the big one that we've got coming up. Now, last year was our first time for that, and we had actually a pretty good turnout considering that it was raining and unbelievably cold for this time of October. But we had our glow run last year, and our next glow run is coming up on October the 29th, and it's at Union University, same place it was last year, at the clock tower. That's where registration will be. Our early bird pricing ends today, so if you're a runner or you just want to come walk and participate, you can do that and go online, west10homesearch.com. In our magazine that comes out next month, we'll actually have some paper registrations that'll come out in there, so you can just pull out a page and fill it out and drop it off at the board office. But we're going to have the glow run. We'll have the wicked walk for the walkers of us that don't run. And even though I've been getting out walking in the morning, and I did run about a quarter of a mile the other day, believe it or not. My son's been doing cross country, so I'm trying to keep up as best I can. And then also this year we're also having, if I can find it on here, it is the Candy Lane, I think is what they called it. So they're going to have vendors, and if you want to be a vendor, you need to contact Kimberly at the board office, 731-668-4907, and find out how you can get a booth set up and hand out candy to the kids. And we encourage costumes, so if you're coming to walk, now you're runners naturally, I don't think you want to run in your costume, but anybody can wear a costume. costume if they want to. We encourage that because it is right here before Halloween.
Absolutely.
And we had a great time in our registration. You get a T-shirt and you get some glow stuff to have with you. Last year, like I said, it was raining and cold, and the path wasn't marked all that well. But this year, we'll make sure we got it marked really well, and we'll have people stationed at the major stops along the way or corners along the way. That was the biggest problem. But we're looking forward to a big time, and we'll have a timer there, the whole works and everything. We give out awards when it's over. And so we're hoping to have a lot of people turn out. And there again, that's back to our original message, which of Realtors, that's who we are. And it just shows that as Realtors, we do like to participate in our communities, give back to our communities, and help out where we can, because this is where we live. This is what we do.
Absolutely.
And we're here to protect all homeowners' rights. And because I've talked about it before, and I'm going to bring it up again because I can get off on the soapbox on that. But there are some crazy things that come across legislation sometimes that I don't know where they get this stuff from. It's just crazy, you know. And my favorite one recently, and then I'll turn it over to you, and we'll get off the air. Was
I want to hear this one.
The one about the guy that, and I'm not even going to say what county he represents because I know now. I didn't at the time, but I do now. About the one that decided two things. He brought two things before the Nashville to try to get past, and it all had to do if you are a landlord. Okay, so not everybody's a landlord, but you still own a home if you are. He wanted to put it out there that, one, it was the landlord's responsibility when they took an application for a future tenant to find out if that tenant was actually a U.S. citizen or not. So now the onus is on the landlord to prove that that person is an actual citizen of the United States. How are they supposed to do that?
How are they going to find out?
Yeah, how are they going to find out?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, how much are we supposed to give them forms? What if we find out they're not? I mean, there was no other anything to go with it. That was just they can do it. They're the ones that's interviewing everybody. They should know. And then the other one was, if you had somebody that moved out of your rental property in the middle of the night and they left a pet in the property and you didn't go out and check within like 10 days after these people moved out. Remember, I said moved out in the middle of the night, which meant you didn't know they were gone.
And they took your money with them.
And they took your money and whatever else with them.
Yeah.
If you didn't go out and inspect that property in 10 days and a pet was found to be in that property, it's now your problem, not their problem that they left it. And now that falls on the landlord to be responsible for that tenant's pet that was left in the property, not on the tenant that left it there.
That's just wrong.
These are the type of things that we are there to prevent happening, because if it gets handed down through a landlord, trust me, folks, it'll work its way down to the homeowner at some point in time. Eventually. It just will. Yeah, eventually. And I got more. I got lots more. But that's just the latest ones I can remember.
We could do a whole show on crazy legislation, I imagine.
Oh, you have no idea some of the stuff people come up with. And that one all came up because the guy that brought it before is because his daughter loved pets so much, and he wanted to show her that he also love pets as well too.
Let's protect the pets.
Nothing like putting your own personal agenda there before everybody that voted on you.
I mean, I'm a pet lover too, but come on.
I am too. I got a dog at home. I love her. She's part of the family. But
absolutely.
I'm not going to depend on somebody else to make sure she's taken care of.
No. If you can pack all your goodies when you leave in the middle of the night,
I'm sure you can fit a dog in there too,
or the cat, or the gerbil, or whatever.
Oh my goodness. So anyways, there you go, Jimmy. That's all I got for today. I'm done. So.
Now next week I'm going to be away on assignment, as they say, and you've got a prior commitment also.
I do, yes.
So Brad McCoy will be filling in for me, and we'll let him know, and I'm sure he'll fill.
I hate that I'm not going to get to sit here and talk to Brad for 30 minutes or so.
He's great to talk to.
I know. I hear him on the radio all the time.
Yep, good guy.
So I hate that I'm going to miss that, but I'm going to be enjoying a little time with my family. So
second Monday, the second Monday in October, we'll be getting back together.
We will be back together.
We'll catch up on old times.
Sounds like fun.
Brent Ward, CEO of CWTAR, the Central West Tennessee Association of Realtors. This has been the voice for real estate.
Multicultural.